year was 2034 when I realized that landscape photography had come to an end. It was the dawn of artificial intelligence. I remember standing there in the very spot where my image of Chestnut Creek Falls once presided over Interstate 77, near the small town of Hillsville, Virginia. The billboard once inspired its passerbys to visit the many wonders of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Now long forgotten, the billboard, along with my image, had been replaced with advanced, thought-provoking AI technology. Although once highly regarded, my services as a landscape photographer are no longer required nor desired. With our newly implanted thought-enhancing chips, the AI billboard now reads travelers' minds to embed images of places to visit, perfectly attuned to our deepest passions and desires. Nowadays, AI generates breathtaking computer-simulated realities, all conveniently uploaded directly to the mind's eye. Ironically, as a landscape photographer, we once used our imagination to create photographs from preconceived visions we held in our once all-natural mind's eye. Unfortunately, my obsolete camera and feeble mind just could not compete with the telepathic omniscience of AI. Now, is this the future of landscape photography? Who knows? The other day, I was out researching this Bluebonnet Trail. It's near Ennis, Texas, for potential compositions. But anyway, if you don't know, the Bluebonnet Trail is home to over 40 miles of bluebonnet fields. It's truly an incredible sight to see. I've seen several stunning images on social media from those fields. However, none of the trail looked anywhere close to the online images. In fact, many of the comments on social media had expressed their disappointment in what they saw online versus what they saw in reality. Indeed, some commenters suggested that many of these images didn't actually exist and were just simply products of Photoshop and AI. On the other hand, maybe these images were captured on private property or from well-hidden areas. Truly, it's often the timing, planning, and the exceptional skills of photographers that are truly responsible for breathing life into these stunning images. Nevertheless, it does make one ponder just how much editing does take place in these images. If you've used Photoshop recently, the generative fill feature in Photoshop is just mind-blowing. Look, I don't have half the skills others do in Photoshop. Some things they create, though, in their own right, just works of art, just masterpieces of human ingenuity and technology. Honestly, that doesn't seem to be such a bad thing, at least not to me. However, I will say that I tend to shy away from certain editing tools in Photoshop, like sky replacement, for example. Now, we could argue the merits of replacing a dull, mundane sky with a stunning, fiery masterpiece. However, I think what bothers most people is the injustice of it all. On one hand, a person gets up at 3 a.m. and drives an hour to their destination. They've taken the time to research and plan the shot. Now, after waiting for the right moment and the best conditions, and after several failed attempts, the light is near perfect and the image is made, not taken. On the other hand, a person gets up at noon and combines several stock images together, and then in Photoshop they create this stunning bluebonnet field with the perfect sky and the most magical light you've ever seen, all done in about 15 minutes. One could argue that that image was taken in this example, not made. Now, who's right and who's wrong? Is anyone wrong? For me, it's simple. It's all about the experience. I do my best to recreate the scene as I experienced it. As Ansel Adams said, you don't make a photograph just with a camera. You bring to the act of photography all the pictures you've seen, all the books you've read, the music you've heard, the people you've loved. For the purist out there, let's ponder this for just a moment. Despite my attempts to recreate the scene, does the image I made truly encapsulate what I saw, not in the mind's eye, but in reality? I mean, think about the field of view of a lens for a moment. Although a 50mm lens is close, it doesn't reproduce the full angle of view of what the human eye sees. And a wide-angle lens just distorts reality, which makes it far different than what the human eye sees. Indeed, a wall-sized print would be required to even come close to what we truly see in the field. Now, that's not what happens in the mind's eye. It's like the Christmas tree in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. The Griswolds hike for miles to find Clark's vision of the perfect family Christmas tree. When he finally locates the one that meets the vision that he held in the mind's eye, he sees it not merely as a tree, but as a flawless spectacle illuminated under extraordinary light. I think photographers are much like Clark in the way we see the world. Not as what it is, but as what it could be under perfect conditions. So, when we're in post-processing, we're often recreating not what we actually saw, but what we saw in the mind's eye. So, on that note, though, you might be interested in one of the videos I made on ultra-wide-angle lenses, and I'll leave a link to that in the video description. But anyway, so, is it right or is it wrong to use Photoshop to bring one's vision to life? Well, I don't think it's wrong. So it's kind of like the camera body in a lens. Photoshop is just a tool in the photographer's tool bag. It's much like Ansel Adams used the darkroom to dodge and burn. And, well, should we not use dodge and burn feature in Lightroom? If you didn't know, dodging and burning was the practice of exposing a print to more or less light to make areas of the print brighter or darker. But the point is, we've always used technology. Indeed, photography, film itself is technology. Now that we've covered the purist argument, let's talk about what's really on our mind. Is AI going to replace the photographer? Remember, people said it was the end of film when digital hit the market, and film is still around. On that note, you may want to check out my video on 35mm film versus digital photography, and I'll leave a link in the video description. Anyway, photography may become obsolete in the future. Think about it. If we truly developed a thinking AI robot, what if it had access to the internet and became interconnected with all of our technology? Things like home, street, office security cameras, drones, car computers, your cell phone, facial recognition software, you name it. Then yes, we're out of a job, folks. Machines would be able to quickly create and saturate the market with stunning landscape images far better than I can, and maybe better than all of us. Who knows? Indeed, machines may one day have access to the human mind. Even wedding and portrait photographers may be out of a job one day. Based on the guest list and predictable human behavior, AI could use our minds to create images of the perfect wedding reception. These images could be directly implanted into our brains. Would there even be a need to attend the reception? One must view this from tomorrow's perspective rather than today's. Will humanity always value an actual or real image over one generated by AI? Many of today's youth see things far differently than I or many of you watching this video. Listen to some of them. They want extreme images, and they genuinely don't care if it's AI. They've spent much of their lives with a phone and computer in hand. I think in the future, AI will be a mere extension of the human mind. Are we naive to think that AI will simply not assimilate human beings? Or rather, we will assimilate AI. Indeed, we spend much of our time worried about AI taking our jobs when it will merely become part of humanity. I say let's embrace it and find ways to use it to our advantage. In any case, the fictional story I opened up with, it may one day be my reality. But here's the crux. Just because a computer plays chess, and usually wins, doesn't mean it experiences the game in the same way that you and I do. It's like I said earlier, it's all about the experience. If I never sell another print or make another dime from photography, you'll still see me on the trail. I'll still get up at 3 a.m., travel many miles, spend the night alone in the depths of the forest for just a chance of making a spectacular image. Even if I come up short, I'll still go home with the memories and experiences that I enjoy so much. Now, if these memories can be implanted by AI, like in Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, well, I'm in trouble. Remember to check out the videos I mentioned earlier, wide-angle lens photography and 35mm film versus digital. I'll post links to those in the video description. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, if I don't see you down the road, maybe I'll see you somewhere out on the trail. With my AI robot, of course.